Bizarre Brain Comics. Hello, my comic book friends, and welcome to Bizarre Brain Comics. I am Gary, your host. And usually I'm looking at some older comics, but this time they're not comics at all. I'm going to take a little look at some of the children's books produced by the Harms brothers. That's Nathan and Caleb Harms. And I featured an interview I did with them a little over a year ago. But now I wanted to take a look at some of the books. Now these boys, I call them boys, 20s and 30s. Okay, these guys, of course, are brothers. They are local here, where I live, and they produce a series of children's books. These are for small kids, between, it's like these two, for like 5, 6, 7-year-old kids, and they also have a little series of novels, illustrated novels for about the tweens and along in that area, that age group. And then the writer, who is Nathan Harms, he also has a series of young adult novels that are not so illustrated. Again, Nathan is the writer, and Caleb is the artist. And they have never actually produced any comics or graphic novels, although. When I spoke with Caleb last week or so, he expressed an interest to do so, and he is wanting to do a project of his own, whether that he both writes and draws, and whether that would be a graphic novel or something more along the lines of this Zed and Zia here. So now I wanted, and these guys have been instrumental to me. In help getting my book published. And hey, here's my book, available on Amazon for $7.99. Some adventure, some humor, and some gags, and also helping me with getting my second book published right now, which hopefully will be available the first half of January. And they have done, as I said, started off with several children's books. This is just one example of them. Friend of the Wind. And I just wanted to briefly show you some of the stuff in here. Caleb, it's almost like a poem, the way it's written, almost like a poem. Friend of the Wind. And there are no real people characters. The wind and the storm itself are characters. And this is beautiful artwork, and wonderfully representative of these characters. I just think that's so beautiful. And then here is their series of Zed and Zia, which are science fiction adventure stories, and all the characters are aliens. Zed and Zia. Here. Zed and Zia. They're some funky kind of aliens, and they travel around and have adventures, and some spaceship. Now, there's these books. I know of at least 2 that are completed, and they may have more that I don't know. And Caleb says he is currently working on the illustrations for a new one. But you can see that it is profusely illustrated. At least one, sometimes more illustrations per page. So it's just one step away from being a graphic novel. And they could very well have done it as a graphic novel if Nathan hadn't been so wordy in his writing. And so some nice, funny little characters here. And But the one I was wanting to show you is, this is my favorite. My Dad the Dork. And as comic book people, assuming you're all comic book people, you probably recognize this this illustration. Not this particular one, but this cover was done in homage to the cover of Amazing Fantasy 15, which was the first appearance of Spider-Man, the Amazing Spider-Man. Of course, he even has a 12-cent cover price, and you probably can't tell here, but the cover is intended to look old and rumpled. It's got a sticker, half torn off sticker here. It's got some coffee rings on there, and has a tear in the page. Of course, it's not really there. It's all part of the artwork. And then this little splash here says, also in this issue, well, here's this, though some may call me a nerd and give me funny looks, they'll soon marvel at my collection of comic books. And also in this issue, an absurd amount of references to our other books. Yeah, there are a lot of Easter eggs to both comics and to their own previously published works. And again, it's for little kids. Just some texts, little phrases, text, and of course, it's signed by the Harms Boys. Okay, and it's about a boy who's talking about his dad, and his dad is a big science fiction nerd, a comic book fan, and of course has the illustrations to represent that. And you can see the page layout is not unlike a comic book itself. Even as you can see here, a parody of Spider-Man on that T-shirt, and a parody of said Captain Supreme, of course, like Captain America. And here they are playing together. And action figures, and it says he loves superheroes and space treks, robots, and comic books. And then, of course, also you can see on the cover, this is the costumes that they wear in the story, and this is an obvious take on a Starfleet uniform from Star Trek. Of course, obviously not, but it's also just as obvious that it's inspired by it. Now, one little thing in here is you see the children, their faces, but the faces of the adults are always obscured. So here they are getting ready. They're going to a comic book convention, convention center, and even here waiting in line, all the adults' faces are obscured. You only actually see children's faces. Then here they are, and the thing is, this looks a lot like the interior of the convention center, the Denver Convention Center. And this spread here, this is when they're on the floor in the convention center. And of course you can see this parody of Spider-Man right here. Here is, of course, a Hulk figure. There's a Deadpool and various other things. Even Baby Yoda here. Star Wars, and here are our main characters right here. And here's Jay and Silent Bob. And what are some of the other characters? Oh, and then who are these guys? Oh my gosh, would you believe? Right there are the authors of this book. It's Caleb and his older brother Nathan, right here at a table in which they are selling their books. Then he looking around in there checking stuff out that they want to get, and here's the boy accidentally spilling his drink right into the rare comic books, and the comic dealer is all unhappy when they're walking away with their loot. Trying to stay away from the panels and stuff, just looking for goodies, and they were playing with their toys. And of course, the boy is wearing the fake Spock ears. Then they're in the costume contest, and all the other contestants are in costumes based on their own characters from their other books. And Robo Cafeteria is a character from Zed and Zia, and here are Zed and Zia action figures. And they're waiting in line for an autograph line, and and stuff like that. And they're all so happy. And here in this pile of goodies, you can see the Death Star. What's a Furby? Not a Furby, but yeah, something like a Furby. I forgot what it's called. Goes Gryffindor, the Sorting Hat. And here's one of their own characters. And Hulk, Smash Hands, Doctor Who's box, the TARDIS. And then when they're getting home, caught in traffic, and Dad gets up there, and he's like a superhero as he's looking to see what's going on farther down there. And they get home, and Mom is snoozing. Here's another toy that's based on one of their characters. And it just says how much of a good time he had with his dad at the comic convention. And I think for obvious reasons, that is my favorite one. But they're all fun reads. I recommend you checking them out, getting some if you so desire for your kids or grandkids, or even as a donation to a library. Here's spread some of their books, and all their stuff is available on Amazon. Where is it? It says check us. Check them out at where is it? theharmspublications.com, which gives you a link directly to the to Amazon where the books are found. They have the Harms Brothers collection on Amazon. It's a lot of fun, and I think your little kids would really appreciate it. And this is even fun reading, even for an adult. My wife has more of the books than I do. I think she has all of them. And but that was just a little bit of fun I wanted to show you. And thank you for joining me. Please like, share, and subscribe, and leave a comment. I know, you've never heard of these. Go, what are you talking about? But remember, comics are art.